Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I'll walk you through my Emerald Ruby Evasive deck. This is a great aggro deck list and is one of the most budget-friendly decks available in the format right now. The core concepts of this deck revolve around evasive units and their ability to quest without threat of being banished through opposing characters challenging them. This means that the deck is naturally lore aggressive, preferring to quest each round towards victory rather than trade in and establish board control. As you might expect, the key cards in this deck consist of evasive characters. This deck runs Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, Goofy, and Genie, creating a nice smooth cost curve, perfect for laying down pressure each turn. But perhaps even more vital are the amazing combos that Emerald plus Ruby allows with Kuzco. Combining him with Ruby's ability to unexert after a quest with Shield of Virtue or LeFou effectively makes him an evasive character on turn 6. And with his ward keyword, he also avoids target removal such as Let It Go, Smash, and Dragonfire, which by design are the weaknesses of the other evasive characters in this deck. You can also combine the Shield and LeFou with other Emerald quest characters like Mad Hatter or Hans, but remember that Kuzco is the main target because of how protected his ward keyword makes him. Also, with Mad Hatter specifically, there may be some rare occasions where you want to keep him exerted, knowing that he can be banished. Sometimes it's worth losing him if you can draw a card or two off him at a vital moment. Keep in mind that a lack of card draw is a weakness of this deck, and Mad Hatter can sometimes be used to fight back against that. Here we have the full deck list. I run 4 copies of Sergeant Tibbs, or Duke of Wesselton, as my 1 cost. I prefer them over Minnie Mouse, even though her 1/3 stat line might allow her to stick around longer. You have plenty of other characters that will be used to quest, so often your turn 1 character will be used in challenges. For 2 cost characters, it's an Emerald aggro list, so Flynn Rider is here as always, joining LeFou Instigator, as we already mentioned. Cruella is here as well, and I think she's a fairly underrated pick. She's not too powerful, but with so many evasive options in this deck, she graciously offers the opponent a target to challenge, just with an annoying ability that procs when banished. Cheshire Cat fulfills a similar role as well at 3, while questing for 2, and Jasper joins the list with another annoying Emerald ability that prevents a selected enemy character from questing themselves. Often, as an evasive deck, opponents will decide or be forced to simply race you for victory if they can't remove your evasive characters. And this is where Jasper or Mother Gothel can come in, locking players out of their ability to quest while you are free to do so yourself. As for the rest of the characters, we've mentioned some Emerald staples like Hans and Mad Hatter, and we've gone through the core evasive characters, but we also have 2 copies of Pongo included at 4 ink. They are identical to Tinkerbell apart from her ability, so be sure to run 4 of her before adding in any Pongos to your decks. Finally, this deck mixes in 3 copies of Dragonfire as a bit of a safety net should you need it. Running 2 or 3 like this is fine, but 4 is probably too many. This deck runs smoothly with few uninkables, and there are a lot of great 5-cost characters or combos of 2s and 3s that would much rather be played over a Dragonfire on most turns, but it's here if you do need it. As for additional card options, since this is an evasive deck, some might consider Tigger and Mickey Brave Little Tailor. As for Mickey, the cost is a bit too high. This is a relatively fast aggro deck, and even if you do manage to get up to 8 in your Inkwell, you'll often rather want to play a 5 ink character plus spend 3 to use Shield of Virtue. In the late game, it's also good to play a few 2 or 3 cost characters if you can. They will quest for the same or more than 1 Mickey would, while also requiring multiple removal to deal with. Meanwhile, Tigger is a decent 6-cost character, but he's competing with the utility of other 6-cost characters like Genie or Mother Gothel, or even other alternative options like John Silver. He's another great choice that some players may prefer running instead of Mother Gothel. Finally, you could consider throwing in a few copies of Mother Knows Best. It's particularly great against other aggro decks, but right now the meta is heavily geared towards mid-range decks, so I've been leaving it out. And there we have it, that's our deck list. Drop a comment if you like running anything different in your red and green decks. I love seeing all the discussion and consideration down below. This is a super fun deck to play, so let me jump in a game or 2 and show it off. So let's see if we can find a good match right off the bat. Okay. We got our Sergeant Tibbs. That's pretty nice. I don't think we need Shield. I don't need Gothel. And I probably don't even need 2 Peter Pans. You know what? In fact, I'll keep Gothel for ink. Okay, nice. We got a pretty good little combo here. And since we found our turn 2, I can actually ink this Tibbs. I was gonna maybe save both of them. Play it turn 1, then turn 2, but we found Cruella for turn 2. Not quite as good as Flynn Rider, but quite the annoying card. Okay, Steel, classic. Steel Amethyst, even more classic. Of course, he's playing the New Dog Stitch version, which I don't want to speak too soon, but I think I can take that one out. It's not nearly as good as the mid-range. What do we want to do here? I might need both of these 3s to play one of them on turn 4. So I'll do this. I think I'm safe to quest here. Play out Cruella and pass. He could trade, but that's okay. Oh, this guy runs... Oh, interesting. This guy runs Aladdin. Swordsman Aladdin. And he runs Lantern. Okay, well. Oh, we found our turn 4. That's pretty nice. We're running Evasive, so let's go full Evasive, I think. Plus, Pan's better here anyways, because he can take out Stitch or Lilo as needed. But I'll go ahead and do this before we get any sort of shift shenanigans coming in. We got to get down the Mad Hatter. One of the key parts of this deck is getting down the Mad Hatter and forcing the opponent to remove it, ideally by challenging. Because you got to draw those cards. Okay, so he's playing Be Our Guest. I'm definitely not too threatened by that. Okay, next turn could be a bit of a pain if he shifts in the big Stitch. But the good thing about this board here, and this deck in general, but especially like this board, is like, this is just the most annoying thing that you can possibly have to deal with as the opponent. Like, he basically would need to shift Tink on turn 4, then play, and then sing Grab Your Swords to deal with this. And he could do that next turn, I suppose. Oh man, this doesn't feel great, but playing out Cusco does feel great. So we'll do it. So his best move here by far is shift Tink and then use it to sing Grab Your Swords. Kills these 3, Cusco's still up, but with 1 HP left. And then what else could he do? Looks like he doesn't have that. And he got threatened by that, he got threatened by Hans, didn't he? So this is a natural little answer there. And then I think I just play Cusco and hold Gothel. I can very easily play her next turn if I draw an inkable card. And this deck doesn't run a terrible amount of uninkables. Okay, we got the surrender there. Yeah, he had a pretty rough start. I don't know if his deck was very optimized. All right, let's go game 2. See if we can squeeze in another one since that one was so quick. Okay, we got a good little curve going. I'd like to find a turn 1, if possible. So we got a 2, 3, maybe 4, 5. These types of aggro decks, it's like, man, you just got to go for that curve. They're really easy to play. The main detail with this green-red is just understanding that you're not going to be drawing cards. And honestly, that makes the curve situation even more important, honestly. All right. The classic cat versus owl. Which one do you like more in your Amethyst control deck? Okay, well I have every Goofy that's ever been played in Lorcana in my hand right now. I think I'll... Should I hold Tibbs? Nah, I don't care about Grandma Tala coming in. I'm not afraid of purple blue. At least not on turn 2, I'm not. We'll see what happens on turn 8 or 9 or 10 or 11. Okay. Once again, Goofy. Mr. Ink Goofy. I'm not too worried about their board, so might be able to just go Pain here. Or actually, we're going Cheshire Cat because I'm trying to race this guy. I'm kind of afraid of purple blue. I know I just literally like 10 seconds said I wasn't afraid, but that was before he got to 5 ink on turn 3. Honestly though, I do think my hope is going super aggro, because at some point he's gonna eventually have all these cards in his hand and the ink to play every single one of them. I won't be able to deal with that. He ended up discarding Friends and then playing another one. Alright, we got Peter Pan out here. And I'm just gonna keep going here. There's no need to trade in. He can trade if it needs to happen, and I can grab the lore beforehand. Now, as it stands now, he doesn't have a ton of card advantage, 4 versus 3, because he's turned that into extra ink. as you can see. So 7, he could play Hades. He could play Bell plus another Maleficent. So that's kind of a weird choice. You'd think he'd want to keep the Maleficent alive. All right, he's developing his brain, that's for sure. This looks like the time for Cusco, so we have a really strong next few turns here. Now, if he's smart, what he'll do here is hold his characters. Hold them to hit into Cusco. Yeah, so what I could have done is, you know, attacked in myself, but I kind of figured he'd go for it like he just did. So I snuck in one extra lore. Now, it's not super necessary for him to do that if he has, because he can just play something to replace it, and of course that's what he does. So do I play Gothel or do I play Goofy? Either way, I'm gonna ink Gothel. I think I'll play Goofy here. Put on the evasive pressure. Alright, I'm at 13 going on +6. So he's got to take out that Cusco with both his characters. And then he's got 9 left over. That could easily be 2 bells, Hades. Yep, and it is the Hades. That makes sense. Alright, we get a free quest in with Pan yet again. We're at 14. Let's go ahead and threaten the +4. And here he'll follow up with his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Hades in a row. Okay, he's actually scouting with the mirror. It's probably good news for us. Alright. Ooh, we drew our Dragonfire. That's something you don't want to see early on. But when you do find it, it's quite nice. So cool quest. And then Peter Pan can threaten lethal here by himself, so there's really no reason to Dragonfire, actually. And Peter Pan can quest for 2 next turn by himself, even if they take out Hans, but I don't think there's a reason to Dragonfire, and it's much better just throw out Gothel. She's just another thing they'll have to take out in order to stop me. Ooh, they had to hit mirror. I think that means we got this one in the bag as well. They're fishing for something to help. All right. But anyways, that was Emerald Ruby Evasive. Basically a evasive aggro deck. So I hope you enjoyed that. All right, thanks for sticking around, everyone. If you're new, consider subscribing. I have videos covering a variety of decks, including a few videos covering top meta deck lists in Lorcana. And I want to give all of you a huge thank you. I just passed 10,000 subscribers, which is incredible. I didn't think that was going to be possible in such a niche channel, but thank you to anyone who has watched and liked and shared and supported the channel in any way. So thank you again, and I plan to make more content, so stick around and stay tuned. Until then, see ya.